All right, do you want to know why the law of attraction might not be working for you? So, in my previous years, I always thought that the law of attraction just meant that I needed to understand more. I used to have a really icky belief. Are you ready for it? I used to have a really icky belief that I was dumb. Like, I couldn't understand things. And I would often feel like, am I crazy? Like, I know what they're telling me, but I'm not experiencing what they're telling me. And so then I would have all of this pressure, literal pressure, to go read the same book like 10 times and to really just hop on YouTube like you might be doing now and just be like, okay, maybe if they say it a different way, it will land. Or maybe if they rework how they said it, like maybe I'll get it. Like the belief and the identity I used to hold was I don't get it. Like I just don't get it. And I think that a lot of us are trained or conditioned to just not get it because our brains are obsessed with complex things and we want to understand the mysteries of the universe. And if you really don't vibe with that, you wouldn't be on my channel because I'm really damn good, now that I don't believe that, I am really damn good at breaking down the mysteries of the universe and then giving it to you in a practical and tangible way. And so if we aren't being our best selves, like what is the purpose of life? Like I have a lot of ambition and I don't pretend I don't have it there. So you're welcome. But the law of attraction in every single video is like, if you just think the thoughts, you'll have it. And here's what they're not telling you, at least in my observation. So yes, thoughts create our reality. I absolutely believe that, but I'm going to go deeper because I love depth. Thoughts about what? Do you ever ask that question? I finally asked that question one day. Thoughts about what? I have lots of thoughts. Do you want to know them all? Because I'm pretty sure you don't. I have lots of thoughts. You have lots of thoughts. So if our thoughts create reality, then why is it when I think a thought, it doesn't just happen like magic, like boom, it's there? Because if that was true, then I wouldn't actually have to work, because if that was true, I would just be able to like pull it out of the sky and have it. So there is a level or a layer to this. There's many layers, and I want to break down the principle because principles are actually what change our life. Living a principle is what actually creates freedom. Okay, you can hear a principle all day long and your life not change. You will change when you embody the principle so deeply that the principle is like breath to you. For example, I really believe in the principle of waking up in the morning and then immediately going to stretch and do my stretches and my yoga and my spine work. Why do I hold that principle in my belief system? Because that principle has shown me time and time again that when I operate from that principle, my life is changed because I feel good that day. I feel like I took care of myself that day. I feel like I can kick ass that day. I'm like, damn, if I can do the splits, that means I can do anything, because that shit hurt. It's almost like training myself to understand that resistance doesn't need to be a part of the process. And I think that's the biohack to life, because everywhere you turn, life, if you're in the wrong circles, is telling you that you need to work harder, you need to push harder, and that's complete bullshit. I don't buy into that, because they believe at a principle layer, at a principle level, at a deep awareness, that resistance is what creates. But I don't believe that. Resistance does not create, allowance does. So when you allow something in, when you allow a yummy hug, and you know, because you're like hugging someone and you're like, yeah, I know y'all have felt when someone receives you. But have you also hugged someone and you go to hug them and they're like stiff and giving you this look of like, get the hell off me, but they're acting like they love it. Yeah, okay, friends. Yeah, no, that is not allowing. That is you pretending, sister. So I think a lot of us, we pretend that we're living principles, but we're not actually allowing them in. We're not allowing the principle to change our life. So I allow the principle of drinking water first thing in the morning to change my life, because I know that with fluidity comes a very fluid life. Do you see how the symbolism goes together? It's like, I want to drink water in the morning. We all know how simple and easy that is, but why and what is it connected to? So if you're like me, I call myself a why girl. Like, you'll tell me to do something and then immediately I go, yeah, but why? Because if I understand why, then it's really easy to be coherent with it. But it's not fun, to be honest. It's just not fun doing shit because someone tells you to, right? It's like, post on social media every day. Yeah, but why? Like, if I understand why, or if I'm the one choosing the rules, then I'm in. But if I'm just following someone else's rules, I'm not 5. Like, no, thank you. Don't tell me how to do it. So now you know my creative rebellion is here to help you creatively rebel. So let's get back to the law of attraction. When you know that your thoughts create reality, that's beautiful, but why? So what I really want you to be asking isn't why, but I want you to be asking what. What thoughts actually bring forward the fruition of what I'm calling in? So we're taught with law of attraction, at least the way I perceived it in the beginning, was that you need to know what you desire and then call it in. So sometimes that's, I would love a coffee. Sometimes that's, I would love $20. Sometimes that's, I would actually love a mansion, right? There's different desires that we have, but the desire, if it's not backed by the thoughts of an empowered identity, the brain is going to find reasons and ways to block it and stop it, which we would call resistance versus allowance. So if I desire $20 and I hold the identity of a millionaire, I am going to allow that $20 to show up really easily, right? Because I'm holding the identity of someone that can allow in $100,000 a month, roughly. That's the facts. That's the numbers. But if I am operating from an identity of I am a loser, I don't know shit, I am so stupid, why did I do that? I'm an idiot, I'm a failure, look at my mistakes, I can't do nothing right, I don't have no one that loves me, I'm worthless, okay? If I was operating or someone was operating from a worthless identity, are they going to allow that $20 to come in? No. So it's not that the universe doesn't deliver, right? I can go up to that same person and be like, here's your $20. I just feel like you need $20 and I don't know why, but here it is. If that person has an identity of worthlessness, they're going to reject me. Not even me, but their own ask. Isn't that crazy? The $20 is like rejected because they don't have an identity that supports or holds up the very desire they have. So next time someone says that your thoughts create reality, they do, but I'm going to give you a clue. And I actually paid $10,000 to learn this lesson, and I say that openly because my mentor had changed my life at the time. And what does that tell you? I have a principle in my belief system that I live in and I embody, which is I always have a coach, not because I'm stupid, not because I can't. I always have a coach because I know I'm a badass and I deserve support. So what is the principle that I live by? The principle that I live by is that I always deserve to be supported, right? But someone else that is like, oh, that's a lot of money. Sure, but we're not looking at the thought of the circumstance. We're looking at the thought of the identity, because the law of attraction means that based on the identity you hold, you will either resist or allow what is coming in. So I used to think that desire was the hard part. Like I used to think, oh my gosh, I don't know what I desire. And then I got really honest with myself. I'm like, Brianna, stop your freaking, you know when you talk to yourself and you got to give the grown-up talk. I'm like, Brianna, stop bullshitting yourself. Literally, sister, knock your shit off. You know exactly what you want. In fact, you are someone that has so many wants that you probably already have the next list after this list. So then I was like, okay, I see that. I'm going to be really honest with myself. I see that. So then what is the actual hard part? Supposedly, if it's not the desire. The second part was what I shared with you already. So write this down. Resistance is not required. I was like, what the hell does that even mean? And it means as long as you hold an identity that you're not worthy of the millions, or if you're not worthy of the success, if you're not worthy of the books and the authorship and the public speaking and all the things, then you're going to show up a little differently than someone that is worthy of those exact things. And so I was like, okay, so if I was to allow those things right now, like it showed up on my doorstep today from UPS, and the UPS guy was like, here's your delivery of all your desires. It is really simple and really easy to allow a desire in when I have the concept and thoughts of myself that are empowered. So the only thing you need to know then is, in order to not have resistance be a part of your principles or operating system, is that you need to be able to hold an identity that does allow everything you're calling in. I'll give you another example. I was like really manifesting the idea of having a house cleaner because I would, quite frankly, rather be writing books all day, every day. Like I just love to talk and write. That's my zone of genius, clearly. So I thought, it'd be really cool to have like a housekeeper and a house cleaner. And when it showed up and I experienced it in the real reality, I literally cried. It was like I allowed it, but like barely, right? She left my house and I'm like, thank you so much. Dude, she gets paid for it, okay? It's not like it took anything from her and she's in her zone of genius. It was beautiful. But that awareness showed me just how much resistance I actually had to allowing myself to have everything I've ever freaking desired. And that was a pivotal moment in my understanding that the law of attraction will give you everything you can desire. The desire is not the hard part. For me, it might be for you. But if you're getting really honest about yourself, the hard part is that you don't think you're ever going to have the things that you desire. And that's the shitty part. Because then we don't dream because we don't want to get disappointed. And it's like, okay, why would I ever dream if I don't actually believe I can have what I'm asking for? And let's go deeper. Why would I even ask if I've always been told no as a child? This goes so fundamentally back to our roots and how we were raised, because the same $20 that is like nothing to some millionaires is like, and it was like everything to a parent we had in childhood, right? And if they were struggling, then we associate that we must be the burden, we must be the problem because, you know, we saw mom and dad struggle. So why would we ask? This is really deep. Let's keep it really, really damn clear. You can clear all of this in 2 seconds by knowing what you desire. Yes. Knowing that the universe is not your parents. That was another shift I had to have. The universe, God, even God, okay? I believe in God. But here's what I know. I had to separate my idea of God and my parents, because I'm like, oh man, if my parents were struggling, you think God's struggling? Because no one is going to give anyone anything if we're all just sitting in like struggle soup. So then the thing I had to really comprehend was that my thoughts did create my reality, but the ones that created them the most or the quickest in my observation was the thoughts and opinions and ideas I held about myself. Nothing else, period. It was the thoughts I was having about myself. That inner dialogue is what creates reality. So if the inner dialogue is, I'm shitty, I'm worthless, nobody likes me, nobody listens to me, I'm misunderstood, I don't belong. Yeah, when you go to ask for the $20, it's not that the vending machine isn't going to let you have it. It's going to drop it, but you ain't going to pick it up because you believe you're a loser. So sometimes our awareness, our reticulating, I can't even say the word, reticulating activating system, it can't pick up the evidence of where the vending machine dropped the cookie because we still believe that we're not someone that's worthy of a cookie, even if the cookie was just sitting there plainly. It's almost like some of us are demanding the universe to send us a love letter. In the meantime, we're writing ourselves a hate letter. That's the conflicting information. So the law of attraction isn't anything special. I'm going to ask you to take it off the shelf. It's not something that you need to overthink or go look up every single strategy in the world for. You just need to have better thoughts about yourself, period. And then when you have better thoughts about yourself, put inside of your operating system, inside of your heart, inside of your knowing that resistance is not a part of the formula. You don't actually have to be in resistance in order for you to be worthy of it or to struggle in order to prove that you can have something. At the end of the day, it's how much can I allow and how closely to the principles can I live? Because if I live in the principle that my opinion of myself is what creates my reality of myself, that is the number one, I would dare say the root of all manifestation, because I've been in the game too long. I actually thought the other day, I'm like, you know, I have this thought, not gonna lie to you. Sometimes I think, man, you are too smart for your own good. Like sometimes you see a concept and you're like, yep, but we can go deeper. And I'm like, brain, I love you. I really do. Like you are so brilliant. And I need you to work for me, not against me. So I had to have a little chit chat with my ego upstairs because that part of us that wants to look for evidence can really find whatever the hell we want it to find. But if you're not directing that inner dialogue, if you're not directing where you want it to go, it's kind of like my coach says, my favorite thing she ever said is so funny. She's hilarious and she graduated this life a while ago, but she used to say, when you're not in control of your thoughts, when you're not in control of your inner dialogue, it's like a stallion shitting all over the floor. It's like that horse is bucking and it's wild and it's pissed and it's like shitting all over the floor. And you're just watching it and pretending that you're a victim to it. But dude, your body is the stallion. So if you can get your stallion to be calm, your nervous system to be calm, your body to be calm, that's the first place where you realize, oh, I don't need to be in resistance. Why did I ever think I needed to be? And then it will start to untangle slowly where you start to realize I am worthy of everything I asked for. And God isn't my parent, so I don't really need to self-punish. And I don't really need to believe in scarce, limitation, or lack just because everyone else does. And you start to pull yourself out of a very complex web that you got from society. And you start to build an inner knowing like I belong and I belong with me. And the thoughts I have when I'm in the privacy of just hanging out with me, like they're really sweet, they're really kind, they're really genuine. And I'll tell you what, someone that's going to go on YouTube or someone that's going to publish every single day, someone that's going to write a damn book called literally The Foreplay Through Wordplay, someone that writes a title like that is aware. Sure, the world might reject it, but you can't reject me if I don't reject me. Because when you reject me, you're rejecting an idea, but it's not who I am. It's not personal because I don't reject me. My creation, my creative power is mine. You don't get to take that from me. So when I show up and I rub feathers wrong and people are all like feeling some type of way, I let them take accountability that their stallion feels some type of way about it. And it's fine because I know my intentions are good. But the opinion of myself will always override the opinions of other people because I now know if I want the life I say I want, I've got to have a really good, integral, yummy relationship with my own thoughts about myself because I am the best winner when I am on my side, and I'm a loser in the past when I let myself lose simply because I didn't show up for myself. Does that make sense? So your inner dialogue, when you hear the law of attraction, I just want you to hear this, and I'll leave it at this. When you hear someone talk about the law of attraction, I want your brain to go, oh, law of attraction, I know what that is. It's how I conceive, feel, believe, and think about myself, period. And from that place of my thoughts, then I can expect and assume that life is going to reflect all of that beauty around me. Oh my gosh, that $20 showed up. How delightful. That coffee, how sweet. Of course it did, because I am so loved. I'm so supported. Oh, I got the house cleaner. I always wanted that. Of course I did. It's an of course, but what they don't tell you is that you don't hit the of course moment until you've built the foundation of true self-love. So when I was obsessed with every technique on the GD planet, literally I was going insane. I'm like, God, if I could just figure this out, I'm going to hack reality. Life's going to be sweet. I'm going to be so fill in the blank. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I think I'm obsessed with self-love. I think that's what I'm actually obsessed with. Why? Because if I have self-love and if I can learn that one skill set, then when I show up and like there's a circumstance that feels like it's kicking my ass, I'm going to be able to not only love me and show up for me, but I'm going to realize I am the one controlling the simulation. Simulation is a word that a lot of people use, and I really like it, and I'll tell you why. Because if you could imagine a projector coming out of your eyeballs, you are going to see what you see, right? Like, what do you see? Like when you close your eyes. Now, you can actually do this right now. Close your eyes. What do you actually think and feel and see when you think of you? Like when I think of Brianna, I'm like, dude, you are like Wonder Woman. You are like amazing. You share energy. You share love. Your heart is huge. You are a badass. You are a conqueror. You are. Do I have moments where that's not true? Absolutely. Am I human? Absolutely. Do I need to be perfect? Absolutely not. But if you don't feel like that yet, I'm now showing you the only principle that you need to live by in order to have true freedom. And I mean it. I swear it. I have too many experiences that tell me otherwise. When I source self-love from within, I have had everything I've ever asked for. And when I look for someone else to give it to me, I'm waiting for permission. I am waiting for validation. And then I hate people around me because they didn't give me what I was hungry for. And I'm eating breadcrumbs and I'm starving and I'm a victim and you're all not on my side, right? Like that's the difference of freedom. I no longer emotionally react because I understand my emotions are mine to control. And not even in control, but to take ownership of. And the only way I can feel shitty is if I choose shitty. Like, I think we have to really remember the law of attraction is just saying, screw it. It is law. And here's the law. I have given you free agency to choose your state of emotion every single day. And that's not to say bypass it and we should only feel good feelings. Absolutely not. But it's the overall idea, right? Like if 10 years pass by, what is the overall feeling of yourself? Are there days where I'm like, I'm not perfect and I haven't met my standards? Sure. I have really high standards. I don't love that, but it's what it is. And I've noticed the difference is it's not about being perfect or controlling your emotions as much as it's looking at the long haul and going, okay, in the last 10 years, let's just start with 10. In the last 10 years, what is the overall feeling I've had about myself? Or even last 5 years or even last 2 years? What is the overall feeling? Bottom line. Pick one emotion. And I'm like, oh, that's easy. I feel mostly insecure, period. That was how I used to feel, very insecure. Because again, I was waiting for permission and validation. That sucked because I never usually got it. So now, fast forward, I'm like, okay, what is the overall feeling of Brianna? When I think of Brianna, I correct my name. She's powerful. and she's incredible. And she is so huge-hearted. And the vibration that I feel about her now is just epic. She feels epic. What in the actual hell? So the real transformation then is I went from inadequacy, someone please tell me who I am, to I feel epic. I feel really epic because I decided that I didn't need to keep that vibration of inadequacy, and it wasn't my friends or my family keeping me there. I was using them as the excuse to stay there because that's what was my norm. So then when I let go of a lot of ideas about my past, I was like, okay, so maybe my past is where I felt inadequate, but what's the feeling of my future? And the feeling of my future is epic and powerful and limitless. My favorite word, just so you know, is limitless, because when I tap into the vibration of limitless, I feel so connected, so turned on, so in my authentic identity that my consciousness is like, we can go anywhere, baby. But when my consciousness is not in a state of we can go anywhere, baby, it's the opposite vibration, which is victimhood. It's caged, it's trapped, it's unfulfilled, it's insatiable hunger, it's discontentment, it's disappointment, it's like pissed off, it's stressed, it's anxiety, it's all these things. So I actually start my day, secret hack to law of attraction, I actually start my day every single day with the vibration and the feeling of limitless. I literally close my eyes and I'm like, I go into my future and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And when I feel that, I hold it. I hold it for as long as I can. And then when I start to go like dip low throughout the day, I'm like, let's just connect back in because it felt really good. So here's what's really fun. The law of attraction isn't something that you work towards. The law of attraction isn't something that you learn about. The law of attraction is something that you actually just be. And based on who you are being, then you obviously notice things around you that reflect that back to you. So life is responding to you, but you don't know that when you're the one reacting to life. So when you're throwing emotional tantrums and you're reacting to a negative bill, when you're throwing an emotional tantrum and you're emotionally reacting to life, that is a disempowered state because you are reacting or responding to your circumstances and you're giving circumstances the power. Versus someone who's like, okay, I don't love these circumstances, clearly. But here's the deal. I no longer believe that life is like doing these things to me. I now believe that I am the one that the universe responds to. So I want to be really clear. This is when it gets tricky, but it doesn't have to be. You are actually the start, not the finish. What I mean by that is how you choose to behave, how you choose to show up, how you choose to think about yourself and feel about yourself is actually what the universe is responding to. And so if you want the reaction of the universe to be different, you've got to go inside and decide what you would like to see in your outside mirror. Life is one big mirror. It really is. And I don't need you to believe what I believe, but the world is a mirror. And that doesn't mean that everything you see is your fault. It just simply means that if you are noticing that when you wake up, you're in a really grateful mood, what are the chances that when you go to the grocery store, you notice someone smiling at you? Why would you notice that on a Monday versus a Tuesday? Because on Tuesday, you were feeling really bitter and angry and obsessing about this conversation you had with a friend. Then you go to the same damn grocery store and you're like, they took forever. It's like you think that the world is against you, but what you didn't know is that you are against you. I'm going to leave it there. Okay, I have a book. It's called The Book of Epiphanies. Get your hands on it because here's the deal. If you're loving YouTube, this is where the shit really happens. This is where I invite you to see yourself as empowered. And when you have the breakthrough of your lifetime, you get to create a reality in which you love everything about it. So go get The Book of Epiphanies. It's in the comments below. Make sure that you subscribe. And until next time, see ya.